Hey everyone, Scan from Pepi's Techsuit, and today we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Maono AU-PM421 USB microphone. Alright, so we got this microphone set sent to us from Maono, so thank you for that. But of course, like all my other reviews, all opinions will be my own, and they will be seeing this video at the same time that you do. So yeah, we got this cool microphone set with the name that could fit a password requirement. But the cool thing about this set is that it includes the shock mount, the arm, the pop filter, and the microphone all together in one set, and that doesn't cost too much. So very budget friendly for the entire setup. So basically that's what I have for my Blue Yeti that I use for all my USB microphone needs, which is microphone, pop filter, shock mount, and arm, and that came out to a lot more than this did. So let's take a look around the box. So it says right here, professional condenser USB microphone set, and of course that model name. So on the back we can see that it has the pickup pattern that looks like a cardioid, the heart shape. Of course it has everything that we see here, USB-B type connector, the arm, the desk mount, all that, dual springs, the frequency response, cardioid, all that stuff, all these specs, and all these features. Of course, it has a technical support and all that. So compared to a lot of the other USB microphones that you see, and all those budget electronics you see on Amazon typically, this one seems to have pretty good packaging, and just I like the way that's all put together. Like, once you see the pop filter, you'll know what I'm talking about. Let's open this box up. Alright, so right at the top we're greeted with first the user manual and the contact card. Oh, look at that! Happy! That's so exciting. That's nice, I like that. Oh, on the other side, need more help, sad face. Need more help, and it gives you all the, the contact instructions. Really detailed user guide here. That's cool. So yeah, right off, yeah, this is what I was talking about. Like, so a lot of those like no-name brands, kind of the budget brands on Amazon, they don't really brand any of their things when you find them. Like the pop filters, the cheap ones you'll see don't have any branding. But here you can see it has the Maono logo right up there, and there. And I just think, even if this quality is the same as those pop filters, just the fact that it has like the brand and like subtly, not over the top, I think it really like kind of makes you feel like you bought a more premium product. So that's cool. We have the pop filter, and of course this guy. All right, now let's remove this top layer here. So yeah, let's get started here. So yeah, shock mount, decent quality. And yeah, just by the size of this, you can tell it's a really small microphone. So that's cool that they included this. You have the desk mount here. It's awesome. And the arm. Oh, this is a lot more lightweight than I thought it would be. Pretty stiff. I guess you can control that here. Lock into place. Are you happy? Pretty badly. Yeah, I definitely prefer that one. I have the Rode arm for the Blue Yeti, but I guess you do pay a lot more. I'm pretty sure that arm costs more than this entire set, so this is still a pretty good buy. We'll leave that there. And this thing, of course, very underrated, the detachable USB cord. And if you know me, you know that I love it when products do this. Like, I love the Fifine microphones, but the issue that a lot of those ones have is they're always attached. So if the cord gets damaged, you need to pretty much replace the microphone. So this, if the cord gets damaged, you can replace that, or if you need a different length, you're fine. And got a nice little cable strap. That's nice. Again, the little branding, that's like a subtle detail that a lot of these companies don't do, but it feels good. Like it makes you feel like you bought more of a premium product. So it's the attention to detail that I'm really noticing from Maono right now. And this is my first Maono product, so I'm pretty impressed with this packaging and everything. So here's the actual microphone, and it's got a pretty like decent weight to it. I'm surprised about that. Like it feels kind of like heavier than this. Probably just more dense, but it feels better. And I think the mic, yeah, so it has a mute button, which is a touch button, and of course volume knob or the gain knob. So yeah, like the Fifine 669B, there's no headphone monitoring, but again on these budget microphones you don't really expect that. Like on the Blue Yeti you have that, but you're not going to find it on a lot of these budget brands. So yeah, like this thing feels really good. Like I'm surprised at just the weight and everything. It feels really solidly put together. There's no creaking or anything. And of course the Maono logo. So we have the Maono fully set up now, the AU-PM421, and honestly it actually looks pretty good. Like for the price especially, I mean you're getting this entire bundle here for less than the price of a Blue Yeti alone. And with that you're basically losing out on a few features such as different pickup patterns on the Yeti and headphone monitoring, but honestly, like for most people this is more than enough, and for such a budget build you're getting a lot. I mean, it's not the most sturdy build, it's not the best quality, but it's definitely passable and it's pretty good for most people. I mean, the arm seems to be working fine. It has dual springs here and here. You get the pop filter, you get the mute button, you get a well put together microphone and the shock mount, and that's all again coming in at less than the price of a Yeti. Alright, so it's been exactly 1 week since I shot that intro and unboxing for the Maono AU-PM421. Like my last review with the Fifine I did the week before, I've used the Maono as my main USB microphone for the past week. Again, mostly for Discord calls and voiceovers. The PM421 is a complete package for your desktop USB microphone needs. As shown in the unboxing, it comes with the actual microphone, a shock mount, an adjustable arm, a desk clamp, a pop filter, a windscreen, and a USB cable. And all of this comes in at a surprisingly low cost of $115 Canadian. So let's talk about the build quality of the Maono. The actual condenser microphone is probably the best budget mic I've tested so far in terms of build quality. A very attractive design, similar to the Audio-Technica design language, but with a gain knob on the front, a mute touch button, and a bright LED indicator. If you watch my review of the Fifine K052, you know why going for a touch button for mute instead of a super clicky button would be a big draw. And yes, you heard right earlier, a detachable USB cable. They did go with Type B instead of Type C, but it's still a step in the right direction. And the microphone feels and weighs really premium. Like I said earlier, this is probably the best looking and feeling budget USB microphone that I've tested so far. I also love that they went for the branding with their logo on the pop filter. It just makes the whole setup feel more cohesive. And it might just be a typical cheapo pop filter that you can find on Amazon for a couple of bucks, but the logo helps kind of tie in the whole setup. And while the actual microphone feels very premium, the rest of the setup falls short here. The table clamp, the shock mount, and the arm just don't feel sturdy at all. They all feel very light and cheap, and a couple of times over the past week, while using the microphone, the joint holding the position of the shock mount would give and the mic would just go swinging to the other side. And this is after tightening all the knobs as much as possible. But then again, for the price, I don't really mind the cheaper quality of the accessories. I mean, it would cost quite a bit more to build this bundle by buying comparable parts on Amazon, and I have a similar setup to the Maono for my Blue Yeti, and that entire setup probably costs up to 3 times as much as the Maono. So the PM421 is definitely a good value. Now let's talk about the most important factor about a microphone, the sound. I noticed a very similar sound to the Fifine 669B, which is a great sign. I mean, I consider that to be the best budget USB microphone. And while testing these two microphones over Discord calls with my friends, some felt that the Maono sounded better, while others said that the Fifine did. And I feel like it'll all come down to personal preference. But one thing I did notice is that sometimes in the background of the Maono, you'd hear a noticeable hissing sound. Also, you have to turn up the gain on the Maono to near or at the maximum, while the Fifine needs to only be bumped up to about a quarter or a third of the way to get similar levels. But again, the sound will be up to you as it comes down to personal preference at the end of the day. So here's a sound test for the Maono AU-PM421, so you can take a listen and hear how it compares to some other microphones. This way you can listen and compare these mics and see which one might be the best fit for you. First up, we have the Maono mic. And as you can see, I have the whole setup here with the exception of the windscreen right now. And yeah, so this whole thing has a pretty good sound for the price. And the included pop filter helps with the P's. Of course, this also has that mute button and that indicator light. And the advantage of the touch button for muting is that we don't have to deal with that annoying clicking sound like the Fifine gooseneck mic from last week. So let's take a listen and see if we can hear that hissing sound that I mentioned earlier. Yes? No? Maybe? Alright, on to the next mic. So next up we have the Fifine 669B. And this microphone also has great sound for the price. It sounds kind of similar to the Maono, and my friends that were testing both microphones with me were split between the sound quality of the Maono and the 669B. And again, with the 669B, you only get the mic and the stand, and with the Maono, you get the whole setup. But the Maono does end up costing quite a bit more. So you can decide if it's worth it for you if you want the whole setup or if you just want the mic. And lastly, we have the Blue Yeti. Again, this is currently operating in Cartier mode, and the Yeti does have the best sound from the three microphones by providing a richer and fuller sound, but it is quite a bit more expensive. And the Yeti only comes as the mic on its stand, so if you wanted to do this whole boom arm and shock mount setup that I have here, it ends up costing about 3 times as much as the Maono package. So, who's this mic for? If you're looking for a budget microphone with good sound comparable to the Blue Yeti, then both the Fifine and the Maono are great options. If you just care about good sound and you want it at the cheapest price possible, then Fifine is the way to go. And on the other hand, if you want the entire desk setup for your microphone with the boom arm, the shock mount, and the pop filter, then the Maono is definitely the better option for you. With better build quality, for the actual mic at least, and the inclusion of the mute button, the LED indicator, and the detachable USB cord, on top of all the accessories that it comes with, then the Maono is an amazing value for the money. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.